Hello and welcome to TNF, the first episode of Talking Northants Football. My name is Joseph McCormack. I'm the commentator for AFC Russian Diamonds on Radio Diamonds. Joining me as my co-host, Mr. Aidy Mann, chairman of Rushden United. Aidy, how you doing?
Yes, very well. Not too bad at all.
Excellent. Just tell us, well, first of all, have you had any sort of experience doing this before? Because everyone knows you as a player, as a manager, as a chairman, but I don't think many people would have had you down as a podcaster.
I am definitely not a podcaster, as people would say. I've actually only ever done it once, which I think has caused a bit of a storm. So, yes, it's very much a new thing to me.
Tell the audience about why we're doing this. Where's this idea come from? Because we're not sat here to talk about Rushden Diamonds, Rushden Higham. This is so much more broad than that. We're trying to put the spotlight on Northamptonshire football as a whole, aren't we?
Yeah, I think after the first one we did, the first podcast I did, obviously there was a lot of response to it about it was good for whatever reason, and obviously during the years here we've sat and spoken about football stories, blah blah blah, and stuff like that, and I think all them things that have come together, someone has obviously said, how about doing this? So between me and you and our conversations with your dad, we've thought, yeah, let's see if we can give something back to the community, i.e. with the podcast, and see where it goes.
And it's not just on the pitch matters, it'll be off-pitch things as well. We'll talk to players and volunteers and just people in the Northamptonshire community and on the committees at their respective clubs, and it'll be an exciting journey.
Yes, I totally agree. It's not about myself and my club and yourself and your club. It's about clubs that right across the county, whether they are a Sunday League team, whether they are a Rushden Diamonds level side, whether they're a combination team on a Saturday. Listen, let's go around and let's bring the football community together and see where we take it.
And I think as well, people are getting, I don't want to say more bored of the Premier League, but it's becoming more difficult to watch, isn't it? The high levels of football, with how saturated and how corporate it's all become. More and more people are taking an interest in non-league football and local football especially. And I don't think Northamptonshire football really gets enough conversation, albeit we've only got one club in Northampton Town, that's in the 92. But this county has got a lot to offer when it comes to football, and when you look at how well Northampton Saints are doing, I think we often get perceived as a rugby county, don't we?
Yeah,
and I think the whole football side of it needs a bit of a shine as well.
Yeah, I think, like you say, there are so many people that work for so many different local football clubs. Again, whether it's a Sunday side, a Saturday side, whatever, kids sides, whatever it is, the girls' football, women's football. There are so many people that work so hard for their particular clubs. And yeah, I think it's time that, like we said, to bring a light on all the different various clubs that are around.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are certainly lots of things that we'll be covering throughout our time doing this podcast. We're aiming to do about one a month or so. We're hoping to get plenty of guests on along the way as well. So all we can ask of you guys, please do watch them, share them, follow the socials, all that good stuff. Really spread the word about this podcast, as we really want to try and give something back to Northamptonshire football. But purely for today, we're just going to be talking about yourself mainly, Aidy, and the future of this podcast, because as we say, you're not much of a podcaster. You've had a career in the game and quite an established career in the game as well. Born in Northampton, started your career with Northampton Town, made over 100 appearances for them in the mid-80s. So just to start off with, can you give us some of your recollections from your time at the Cobbers?
To be fair, I think like I say, it's a long time ago. In the days when I first started playing, never had agents, never had dietitians. It was pretty much train and then you just really go home. Enjoyed it very much. It's a bit of a blur now because obviously it's such a long time ago. I mean, I suppose the honest assessment of it was, I think a lot of it came a little bit too soon, I was a bit too young with it in the regard of didn't really know how to handle it looking back on it. But it is it is what it is. It was a great time. Enjoyed it. And like you say, it's now gone. But at them times it's worth it.
I believe you were the youngest ever player at the time to play for the Cobblers. I think you were 16, am I right in saying?
That is correct, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I get a bit sticky here now because I'm down the pecking order quite a bit now. I think I think I could be somewhere about possibly 4th or 5th now. I'm really, really, really not too sure.
But those experiences you had, you would have learned so much from your time there that you could have took into the rest of your career as well.
Yes, most definitely. We, as I said, very, very young, enjoyed it. From there, I went to Newport, which was a very, very, very a long way to go as a youngster from Northampton. And yes, it was interesting, I think, probably the best word to explain it.
Yeah, you had a few clubs in between your time at Northampton and then moving on to Rushden Diamonds, who we'll talk about in a moment. Played for the likes of Torquay, Barnet as well. Any sort of historic moments you can tell us from those clubs?
Yeah, could do. Some I can, some I can't. Played in the game where the dog bit the player on the pitch. That was unbelievable. Never ever seen anything like that in my entire life. But and then on the Monday night, I think the dog was on Wogan, and they brought him on to. I think the guy's name was. I think his name was Jim McNichol, the guy that got bit. But yeah, no, unbelievable. Never forget that.
Yeah, you've got some great stories. I'm sure as we get more guests on, we'll naturally talk about those a little bit more. You then moved on to Rushden Diamonds at the very start of the club's journey in 1992. I think you were seen as the real marquee signing at the time, weren't you? But you had a good spell there, 3 seasons, 130 games, 44 goals, and playing at Nem Park as well. I mean, it feels like a long time ago now, but what a place that was.
Honestly, you have to be there to see that. It was this ground was just built in a matter of such a short space of time. Pitch was an absolute bowling green. It was unbelievable to play there. And obviously, Mr. Griggs, God rest his soul, he was an absolute gentleman in what he did for the town. Gave them a club that they could be proud of. It went so far. I think it fell into the wrong hands, unfortunately, and then obviously AFC Diamonds were born from that.
It was such a phenomenal rise through the leagues, all the way up to League One, of course, before that sad demise back in 2011. But from your days of playing for the club, who were some of the players that you played alongside and players that you sort of relied upon over the years?
Oh, I mean, there were some great players that played for that at that time over the 2 years or so. I mean, you've got Peaksy, who obviously, as we all know now, has gone to Tamworth and done an exceptional job, and fair play to him. The likes of Mickey Nuttall, Darren Collins, Dale Watkins, Paul York, some great lads. Not just footballers, but off the pitch, they were really, really, really good people.
Absolutely, and you played for a host of Northants sides after that. Also had a bit of a managerial spell in the area as well. Can you just give us a bit of a rundown of some of the teams that you represented?
So on a Saturday, I went and played for Northampton Spencer for Gary Sargent, which again was fantastic to play there. Sundays, I played for a side called the Duke of York. I played for a side called Reflex on a Sunday. I then went to St Margaret's for the Moriarty family, which was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, no, I've been very, very fortunate. Met some very, very, very good people within the game that deserve a mention and credit to what they do. And John Moriarty is still involved with the FA, which is brilliant. Just a pleasure to have been around them people.
You mentioned there about playing on Saturdays and Sundays. What was that like for you? Because we see so much talk these days about players playing too many games and players that are in the game for, simply pick up a few quid. But for you back then, it must have been just purely about the love of the game and enjoying it.
In them days, I mean Sunday. I mean a lot of the older people now will look at Sunday football and probably say the standard isn't what it is. I don't really watch it anymore, so can't really answer that, if you like, particular question with any definition, if you like, you know what I mean. But every year there was 2 or 3 sides that played in the English Sunday Cup, it was called the National Cup, which every side across England played in it. Quite funny actually. Left the Duke of York on one season, and the following season they got to the final at Anfield and won. And then the following season played for St Margaret's in the semi-final and got beat in the semi-final at Bristol City's ground, which was very, very sad on the day. But yeah, no, I mean in them days, and I think even today, I think a couple of lads who play for the Diamonds have played in that national and got quite far, haven't they? I can't remember what team it is. I think Jarvis played, didn't he?
Was it AFC Hackleton?
So I think it was them. Yeah.
But yeah, phenomenal ride that they had, and for yourselves back then as well. You know, so many great memories, which we will come to speak about more in future episodes. But just before we go, just to round things off for this first episode, what can the listeners expect from this podcast? Because we've had so many conversations, we've been brainstorming so many ideas. But what is it you feel that you want to achieve from this podcast?
I'll just make it enjoyable for people to listen to or watch or whatever. You know what I mean? It's about, like I said, there's so many ideas. You could sit here ages. We both know the ideas we have. We've obviously got to execute the ideas. But yeah, we're going to give it a go, and we'll give it a right go and see where it takes us, and hopefully we get some good people on here and some great stories.
And something else I would actually add as well, if anybody watching has any particular ideas or feedback or any guests they'd like to see us try and bring on, then we're of course willing to take on some feedback as well.
Definitely.
And just last thing we'd like to say, before we go, if you do want to stick around, keep following our journey, it'd be great to have you along for the ride. Share the podcast via the social medias. We'll tag them all in the description. We're going to, hopefully, all being well, put this out on YouTube and Spotify as well. So it'll be available in all your favourite places where you like to watch and listen to your podcast. Get involved and give us your feedback as well. We'd thoroughly appreciate that. And join us along for the ride. It's going to be a good one. Aidy and I going on a bit of a tour around the county, talking all things Northants football. Thanks very much for listening to this first episode. Thank you, Aidy, as well, for your time.
No, not a problem.
And we'll speak to you all next time.